Ah, we back with another live stream, y'all. We back. I know what the title says. I ain't blowing no accounts, y'all. April Fools. Uh, Posting that live right now before we get started. Y'all know the drill. Hey, just give me a second to get started. Mm, All right. Let's see. Before we get started, I'm gonna show y'all my accounts and everything that I really didn't blow it and everything. It's just all right. Let me show y'all. So let me go into here, refresh the page right here, show y'all everything good. And as I refresh the page, there you go. There we go. So I'm just in drawdown right here, just taking my normal losses, wins, and break evens. If I go to close trades, y'all can see that we only took one trade yesterday, and after that we didn't take no more trades. You see right there. Um, Go to this account right here. This is my next account, just in 3% drawdown overall. Refresh the page for y'all. Do, 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 do. We're waiting for about like 10 o'clock to look for opportunities because there's some news that's coming out. So you see everything is still the same. Uh, and yeah, this is the equity curve right now. That and as you can see, yeah, I'm trying to. Where's the trade history? And trade history. There we go. As you can see, that's not. Is this not in order? Oh, this the 31st. 31st right here. Why is it not in order? That's weird. You can see that I took just a normal loss on that. So, that's that. That's that. That's that. Definitive funding. I forgot to log into that. Definitive funding is the account I am close to blowing that one. That one only had like an 8% max drawdown. I'm at like 7 point something. Trying to save the account. Verify I'm human because I'm human. I'm human. Come on. No, what the hell? It's doing this thing again. Come on, verify. Yeah, you know. No way. I'm not going to just load again. Come on. Don't do that. All right, let's just open this up. My MetaTrader. Too many tabs open. Um, Waiting for it to load. Load. Mm, it was all right. There you go. You see that if I go to what's it called? Yeah, yeah, that thing is freezing. But the last trade took. You can see right. So you can see I'm close to hitting the max on this one. If we go into trade history, I think last trade I took damn it, was this one right here yesterday, and then no other trades. All right. So the first thing we're looking at is we go to Forex Factory and we check the news. So let me reload this page real quick because this is for yesterday. There's some news at 10. So we have some red news at 10 right here. So I'm just basically waiting after news. I think it's at least 3 to 5 minutes after the news for my accounts. So this is just the trade that was in for my challenge. It's just going crazy. Uh, like it's just the same rules that I use for my just regular accounts. I just be trading on different time frames because price is fractal. But I already took like partials and everything. This thing was up like 4R. Took partials around there. There we go. I can see like I had took some partials right down here, right down there. Oh, it's up 5R, like around there, somewhat. So I took it right here and stuff like that. Um, let's get to just an- analyzing the charts to see if there's gonna be like any potential opportunities later on. So gold is in a really good context. So I'm probably just gonna be eyeing gold, but it's in a really good context. Good context. Um, so we go on the 30 minute because we have a cycle happening on that 5 hour. 30 minute, like I said, everything is just fractal. Like if I was a 30-minute trader, I can already tell like this would be like an entry. I may just take this for like a different prop firm account because that like I said, I'd just be switching time frames. I'm talking about for the challenge specifically, but for my funded accounts, what I'm waiting for is basically for price to make a move up. It aligns with if you were taking an entry as a 30-minute trader and makes a nice pause against the 10 or 20, and then I'll go on the lower time frame to look for this exact setup right here where we have a move up, small pause, and then buy stop the high. So I basically just price coming up, pausing against the MAs as it goes up because the cycle repeats over and over. So yeah, that's basically what I'm waiting for. Nothing more, nothing less. I could take a eye at the other markets real quick just to have a look at it. This was my challenge from the other day. I already got this journaled. Yes, like that. I can already tell that there's not gonna be any opportunities specifically for me. Yeah, there's not gonna be any opportunities specifically for like the 5 minute. And the reason why is just we're in this cycle where we're just flushing out. Like if you can see it more clearly if you go on the context time frame right here. We go on this context time frame, what we see is we're just in this flush area. So basically the same thing that I'm waiting for on gold is just move up, nice little pause on the MAs for the same exact setup. Just put this in red. I mean, we could put it in like blue. Cause I'm mainly eyeing gold. USD CAD. Let me see what's going on in here. So I think on the higher time frame, okay, it's starting to look good. We're starting to look good on the higher time frame because what we had here is like price moves in stage ones and stage twos, right? Where basically a stage one is basically sideways movement action. Stage two is the expansion, sideways movement action, expansion. There's either even fractals inside of it too. Like you got sideways movement action that lines up with it as it starts to move up. So when price is moving sideways, we can expect the potentially the expansion to happen. That's basically it in simple terms. So this is the sideways movement action. We're starting to make its way above it a little bit. So I can go ahead and check my context time frame to see what's going on. And what we got here is we have a flush, right? A flush. We have the cycle of price flush, and it's starting to make the stage ones and stage twos higher right here for the context time frame. This is really good right here. So if I was to label this, let me get that. Come on. I should probably. Where's my drawing? There we go. uh, let me put this in. Hold on. Let me put this in the comments. So when I'm flipping over, so y'all not confused on what's going on. Okay. What was I doing again? Use the CAD because this can be the foundation of a potential trend starting. This can be really the foundation. So what we have here is, let me continue to write it out. Let me get this to be smaller. And yeah, so what we have here is the flush right here as price moves under the MAs. Right here we have the first potential what can I call it, like fractal BOS right here, break of structure. That's the first one right here that was created. Is moving higher. It could fall back down in the same area, and I can consider it the whole like one still. So call it the this is the context time for, so I'm gonna call it the CBOS context record structure. So I know where exactly I am. I'm gonna call this the C flush, context flush. So I know exactly where I am. Then since everything is aligning for a potential trend on the context time frame, jump on the 30 minute to see if we have that same cycle going on right here, and it looks clear. Yeah, we have the same cycle going on potentially right here where we had the flush. Uh, there was something right here where it paused nicely on the MAs. Let me just take a look at it to see how clean that was because it moved really clean. Like you can see that it's an impulse, small pause, a pause, buy stop the high. I don't even know if I would have took this like if this was after the 10 a.m. because I also based on my stop loss size. I mean, it's decent. Yeah, it's decent. I would have took that if that was after the 10. But what we waiting for is basically another pause under a 10 or 20. So let's just label this out real quick. That the flush has moved under the MAs like that. Restarting the cycle. Um, Consider this the first validation BOS one. And if it pauses right now in the same area, I'll just consider this whole thing the one because of how close it is. But this is one. If we can make a move, pause again on that 10 or 20, I'll look at the lower time frame. So I like this. I actually like that, how it looks. So I'm gonna put that up here. Let me see what your AUD doing. Your AUD finished the cycle nicely right here. So we have what time frame was it? I think this was let me see. Yeah, this was exactly this right here, where we had at least four of these fractal breaks to the top side, and then we reflushed under the MAs just like that. So we can delete this fifth one and put the fifth one. Never created. It just got to the high and then fell off. But we had the flush. This is a clean cycle right here. So in order for me to even watch this, let me check context time frame. Context time frame still looks good because we flushed. We're pausing potentially to make this first break of structure right here. But either way, there's nothing to do for the lower time frames because if I needed to follow this, I would have to wait for a price to make a move up, pause, and stuff like that. Put this in red. I'm not interested in it. Uh, Under there's some other markets I could look to see for what it's doing. Yeah, nothing, nothing. Uh, I don't even think I can trade that either way. Uh, you would trade McDonald's if you want to. Let's see what's going on here. I think I could slick trade McDonald's. Let me see. Let me go to my account real quick. Let me real quick here. I wonder if McDonald's is on my list. Come on, come on. There we go. Let me see it. McDonald's on my list? Nah, they ain't put it there. Let me see what stocks are on my list. But come on. Why is it tweaking? Trading dashboard. Not trading dashboard, but I'm looking for the watch list. Yeah, yeah. I should definitely like organize this on my own time. 'Cause I'm looking for. Let's see. Not enter the symbols. Like you're not. Uh, Well, I saw a bunch of stocks I could trade. I swear I did. All right, we're not gonna focus on that. Then we're gonna focus on gold. We're gonna focus on gold. Um, yeah, it's just a waiting game right now. Um, Me personally, I will be taking a entry from my prop firm challenge above here. I think it's supposed to be 5 minutes. I'm gonna wait 5 minutes after. Let me just double check what's the rules for Effectify because I'm gonna do it for Effectify if it doesn't run that hot. Um, let's see. Okay, so for news specifically, so I can wait after like 10 o'clock. I don't gotta wait 5 minutes for Effectify. It's only the instant accounts that are affected by that. So I'm a I get this opportunity right here. I could take this for a challenge and stuff like that. There's, I'm just trying to pass them. That's all. I'm doing really good on this one though. Let me see. Like this load. Look at this. We're at 4% equity, but balance is actually right here. With one trade, just puts me right back above like that. That's why the system I have is really powerful. Like, you don't need to win a lot. You just execute the rules, and the winners would just outweigh the losses. So I'm gonna get it prepared. Y'all just see me trade this live because I'm doing a challenge for YouTube where I'm showing the process of me taking these challenges. Let me go over here and we go over here. Okay, is it gonna load? I got some work to do for this one. So I'm gonna get ready with this. Gold. What we're looking for. Where's gold? Gold right here. Come on. So we got 4 minutes. I'm gonna just set like a quick stop for my challenge. Y'all ignore the challenges. I don't care about the challenge results for these streams. It's just about my funded. That's all I care about. Let me see, what level is this at? Like that. I'm just estimating what's a good area. Let me just do. Yeah, that looks decent. That looks decent. This, like that. Yeah, that looks decent. 3139, 363, 3139, 316, 3139. 31. 31, 27, 31, 27, 4. Okay. And yeah, this is something I was set up for this challenge right here. 31, 31, 39, 16. So I'm gonna wait a little bit after just to see how it reacts first. Let me just wait a bit. I'm just looking to see if it's doing anything crazy. All right, so I'm gonna set it up right now. Um, an order. I got so many default watch lists. Um, Orders. There we go. Nice buy stop. All right. So yeah. Then when it's time for me to look for opportunities for my funded accounts, I'll take it. Right now, I'm just waiting for a price to move above that high, and just see. So you just challenge. Uh, Challenge buy stop. There we go. Just so y'all know this is a challenge. Basically, nothing to do. Let me see what USD CAD is doing. So we're coming back down a little bit right here. So I gotta wait for this candle to pause. So what that would look like is this candle just prints in um without taking out this previous candle's high, simply like that. And as long as it's on nicely moving with that 10 and 20, I can look at the lower time frame and be like, okay, is this worth taking a risk on? Yeah. So I have to wait 30 minutes. Yeah. In the meantime, I'm gonna keep an eye out on this just to see whether this price wants to fail. Because if it fails, I cancel this order for my challenge and stuff like that. Mm. So if you're on a lower time frame trading this, you're probably getting chopped out right now. I wouldn't be trading this right now if I was a lower time frame inside of this area. If you're trading gold, you're probably getting chopped out because it's just moving sideways. A move up would just be like a breakout of this area for a potential move higher. 'Cause if I like, let's just say I go into the 5 minute right now. Look at this right here. Look at this. Highs, lows, highs, lows. Yeah. Even worse would be like a 1 minute. So this is just my entry is just a formation of a double breaker structure on the lower time frame. That's simply what my entry is. If I'm putting it on a simple terms, because you can see it more clearly on here, where if you look to the left hand side, price broke structure right here, and you move upwards at this area would mean a second breaker structure. No, given that it doesn't just wick it and it actually breaks it, that would be a second breaker structure. You know, so like stuff like that, simple stuff like that. Simple double break to clear the potential highs like that. That's all it is. And if I was look at a 1 minute, look, it looks even crazier because if you don't do the multi time frame analysis, yes, of course, the 1 minute is gonna look crazy. It's gonna look like you look back and forth, back and forth. Like if I was a 1 minute trader and stuff like that, I'll first be looking at the. Let me see. I'll I'll first be looking at the 1 hour for my context time frame, right? To see if I was in a good like context for price to even move higher. Where we got the flush, we have a flush right here. Then we have the first, the second, third, fourth right here. So it could make a fourth move out of this. So I'll be like, okay, the context is still great because it's pausing on that 10, and this could create the fourth one on the context, right? And I'll be like, okay, let me jump to the 6 minute to see what's going on before I jump to the um 1 minute. And you can see like I wouldn't even jump to the 1 minute because now the validation time frame. See how multi-time frame analysis is important because you now see clarity. If I'm looking at this 1 minute, this 6 minute, I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to enter, go on the 1 minute time frame because look at this. We're in this flush state, choppy right here. I need price to move out of this area, have a nice pause against the on 10 and 20 before looking at the 1 minute. So it's just you need to find rules that help you stay out of price. Like this area right here, even though it's in hindsight, it's basically the same thing where I'm waiting for the clarity. That's not clear right here. The whole market condition has shifted, and that's why I tell y'all, in order to every strategy works, but you need to find the correct market condition. If I'm trading like you can see even some of these words where you come down to the 50 right here, you move up, have a nice pause. This would be like a buy stop. So the entries work sometimes, they sometimes don't work. But it's all about managing your risk. Because if I'm managing my risk, right, and positioning myself to catch a potential trend, right, then I'll make more gains in the long run. Stuff like that. Like I could show y'all that inside this area I could find probably opportunities of my entry setup. Let's see. Let's see if we can find one. Okay, come down, right? Let's find every single one that pauses, like a move up that pauses. Okay, made this move up and then completely validate, but made this move up, pause, something like this. Like made this move up, pause. This is if I didn't use multi-time frame analysis. Right here. Stops right here. Let's just say we were conservative like that. We ran only a 1.15. That would have been like a break even, right? What else? We had this move up, down. So this is what happens when you trade just the pattern without the context. Okay, put my stops right here. Almost gets wicked out. Probably like a break even. So this is what I'm saying. Like areas like this, you're likely to take more losses and break evens and slash small wins. Small wins. Let's do this again right here. Move up. Wait, did that clear the high? I mean, it's still under the high. All right. Move up. Oh, invalidated right there. Okay, look at this. Move up, down. Put in stops under here. Chopping around, chopping around. Probably gonna stop out, right? Have a move up, down, everywhere. So it's all about just finding the best market condition. Like you can tell, honestly, a market condition like this would work with a range bound trading. So what I would basically do in this scenario, if I was like a support and resistance trader, I would basically just be on taking buys for support at the extreme low, not the midpoint, but the extreme low. So something like that. Okay, you see how price. See, this is what I'm saying. It works. Every concept works. So you could put maybe like put your stop. Like you can put your stop under here at that the major low. Enter right there. Maybe you aim for a 1 to 2, 1 to 1, or not even that. Like something like that. Because at that point it's like the extreme low of a range. I wouldn't think about even trading resistance, even though it bounced off because the market is overall bullish, right? So the move higher, like the more it moves higher, the more likely it is to like actually just take out the highs. The more likely it is. Yes, the moves down can happen still, but it's all about like probability. Market overall bullish. So this is what I was talking about. That's why I use multi-time frame analysis and stuff. And that's how you can find clarity with like basically any time frame. Even down to you can trade gold. Yeah, I never traded gold on the seconds, but maybe there are some people that trade gold on the seconds. But I know people who trade the seconds time frame. The seconds. Me personally, that's not for me. That's price it would be moving way too fast. Yeah. Let me see. The price is making something. Let me see. Okay, this looks actually really good so far. I'm not gonna judge it yet because we still have 17 minutes for this candle to close. But yeah, oh, but so far everything looking good. Good. I have to put my phone in charge. Notice one thing I want y'all to take from these wild tradings is notice how much weighting you do. When you just do back testing alone, you don't understand how much weighting you have to do when you're on the live markets until after that back testing phase you go to the demo. So we just waiting for a good opportunity. Good opportunity. That, this is one of the reasons why I say on judge on the trading based on the close of the candle in this scenario because we could reflush down and there's just nothing to do. Like how we're doing right now, it's not holding up against the MAs and stuff like that. It's just looking weird. Yeah, it's looking weird. Either way, yeah, it just looks weird. We're reflushing down. What are we doing here on gold? Did we take out the low here? We came exactly right here. At this point, my stops would be too big. What's the 1 to 2? I mean, it's not bad, but I can barely see whether this. Yeah, like I'm gonna cancel this like order for my challenge because it's really hard to see whether it made like basically just a higher low. That's all it is. So I'm gonna just cancel the order. Confirm. There we go. Order canceled. One key takeaway is to damn, I low key forgot what I was saying. It just slipped my mind immediately. But let me cancel this. Now at that point, this is what I was talking about. Like on the was it like a 1 minute time frame or a 5 minute? Like if you was just looking to trade this as like support and resistance instead, like this range, because this is a range right here. You know, you have to trade at the extreme low of that range. And I drew out this. This is why I'm saying every strategy works. Like this is like a range. Like this is not necessarily saying it's gonna work. Like for real, for real. I set the stops right here. That's even with a limit. Like add confirmation too. Like as long as not if it's not in the middle, stuff like that. That would be crazy if it ended up failing outlook. You know, every strategy on gonna lose at a point. You know, you just gotta keep following the rules. I repeat it again and again. So delete this right here. Delete this. Now I'm just that's all I'm waiting for. Let me see what's going on here. Let me check this tool right here. So we have and all the markets have been down. All the markets have been down. Investing is a good time to buy. Good time to buy. All them stocks are down too. Top of it. Um, Ethereum. Oh, I was about to say I thought Ethereum said it had 92%. I haven't traded Ethereum in like a year because markets can move like that. Markets are able to not look clear for your strategy for a whole year, 2 years, 3 years, and stuff like that, and so on. And that's why I recommend like just if you're like just finding on multiple markets that works with the strategy because you're gonna notice the difference. Like specifically for me, there's just a certain cycle that I need to see on the market before I decide to trade it with multi time frames. Let me see what Euro USD was talking about. I think Euro USD when I was looking at it, that's Euro AUD. I swear I put Euro USD on here. I think Euro USD was looking. Oh, that's just fun. That's why. I'm basically just looking at multiple markets, seeing what looks the best, what looks clear, and if there's nothing that looks clear, there's just nothing to do. Like example, this right here, Euro USD just has nothing to do. I mean, like if I was considering this as a let me see, I'm like, do I want to take another 6 hour entry? Got a double break on this daily. What about the weekly? Weekly break down, but we're flushing. We flushed, moved up, starting a potential bullish cycle. I'm seeing whether I want to trade this on a higher time frame for my basically my challenge for FXify. Because this actually looks good right here. We have move up like that. That's basically the impulse, pause, impulse is basically a double breaker structure on a lower time frame, basically. So, see, yeah, this looks actually clear. This looks actually clear for my challenge. This was the high right here. Put this at the low right here as a buy stop. I don't know when this would get tagged in to for a challenge trade. That would see for time. It's pausing nicely, so we flush, pause nicely. Yeah, I'll take this for the challenge. Nothing wrong with it. Meets the requirements. Let me put that on. I'm gonna input everything. So let's see. Let me look for Euro USD. Let's see. I haven't traded. I was about to say I haven't traded Euro USD in a while, but I think I placed one like sometime this month. But other than that, I haven't traded Euro USD probably like in a year, over a year. What do I look for? Okay, watch this. Euro USD buy order. So I'm just trying to get through this challenge. And with switching so much time frames this often, it's just something I wouldn't really do. Like different time frames. Max I would do is like a 15 out of 15. Now, doing it often this much times is, but it's just a challenge. That's why I'm saying this. I see. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm doing something real quick. All right. So I'm gonna set this order up right now. 1.08495. 1.08495. This challenge right here. 1.08495. Stop loss. 1.07. 1.07769. 1.07769. 1.07769. And then let's get our lot size corrected. We're gonna be risking on 1.5 on this because this is just a challenge right here. Let's see 55, see 60, 70. Yeah, around here. I'll stop. send the order, whatever. Sound like that. Let me get rid of all these charts and let me add orders right here. Taking a minute. There we go. Yeah, so this is basically it right here. I'm gonna just label this as a challenge. So, um, challenge, what's going on? Computer pros. Bye. There we go. All right. Other than that, just like set an alert right down there so I can know, okay, you know, um, it's time to like cancel the order. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna set an alert right here so I know whether to cancel this or not. 1.07769. So 1.07769. Not cancel it specifically, but if the stops is too large, the stops are decent for this time frame. 1.07769. So I'm gonna put that in right now. 7769. I'm gonna do every time. Uh, here, look, something simple like that. Uh, so that's for a potential challenge trade right there. Just have an alert set right there. And now it's just a waiting game to see what to do. It's a waiting game now. That's all it is. That's all it is. So right now I'm good. So I analyzed this. This is potentially good for my challenge right there. Let me delete this right here because oh let me take a look at some other potential markets that may be good. So if I'm looking at this, I'm trying to look for mainly like just the bullish markets, see what they talking about. Yeah, so far the only one that's really, really good is just gold. Gold and silver. Really, really good. Euro AUD, Euro CAD, Euro AUD. Basically, this is what I just do. Euro AUD, Euro CAD. Yeah, because I already have Euro AUD on the list. Yeah, that was unclear. I wonder if there's more of like efficient way to scan all these markets that I actually have that I can trade. Let me see. Trading dashboard. Let me delete this right here. Watch this. Okay. XPT. Let me see what's that. I swear I had like stocks on my watch list on that account, but I don't see it. X, XPT. Let me see. Let me see. Let's take a look at it. Ew, what the hell is this? Let me come off of that. That made my eyes hurt. That made my eyes hurt. Let me take it away. I swear they had stocks on here. I don't know what that was. All right. Um. Yeah, there's nothing else. Ooh. So since I'm bored and waiting for a trade setup, let me tell you how I'm gonna manage this trade that I have running for my challenge right here. Since it's basically just the same thing. So simply, since I already took my partials, like I said, right around here, what I plan on doing is basically trailing this as price starts to make these indicator like lows. Because in my eyes, these aren't real lows for me. I have a rule on what I consider a low, and the indicator marks it out. So right now, there's no lows for me to trail my stops. So my stops are still set at break even with the other 50% of the position. But basically, if let's just say I enter the trade right here, right, and price is all the way up here, right? If price is all the way up here, I entered right here. My stops, instead of trailing it to where this indicator low is right here, if price is all the way up here, I would trail it to the second most recent low. So the second low would be right here. As price breaks the high, right, there's two lows right here. So one right here, one right here. And then I would just simply trail the on stop to the second one right here. And then as price keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, I'll keep trailing that until my final position gets stopped out in profit. And that gives you a huge advantage because you're allowing price to really create a longer term trend because of the idea of price when it's on a bullish trend, right? Making these two breaks or more can be more breaks of structure, but at least two, you know, if price breaks a low, right? It can sometimes break even two lows, but sometimes it just breaks the low, holds the most of the times it just breaks the low, holds the second low, right? And then it continues higher because structure needs to happen on all time frames. Doesn't mean that it's not going to tag it, but it's much of a more safer entry. But with this, sometimes the cons is like example, if you don't get to trail it and prices drops like that, you lose out on your 50% of your position. But it's worth the risk because to lose that 50% of the position because we're in a trade that is going for a potential larger move, which will make more money in the long run doing this. So that's how I'm gonna basically manage it in any trade you see me take for these funded accounts, stuff like that. That's all it is. All it is. it is. So I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. That's all it is. And simply, if price ends up like just dropping from this area, then one thing to notice, I ain't take no trades. Nothing. Nada. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. And do, no, and do. Just waiting patiently. Like, if you look at time frames, it's just a way to view the orders. That's all it is. It's a nice way to view orders. That's all it is. Because maybe the 4 hour doesn't look too clear, but if you go up, looks a bit more clear. Go up, okay, you can see it's rejecting nicely. It looks more cleaner, but it's the story is still the same. So that's why I'm like, time frames are just a way to story is saying the same thing, whether you're on the 6 hour, the 5 hour, the 5 hour showing you a nice bullish candle, 6 hours showing you nice rejection away from the area, 4 hours just showing you bullish candle. Maybe this time frame isn't as clear, but look, if you look at the structure now, break, break below to break higher. So you can expect if it wants to continue, break up. Look, it's just the same thing. I hope y'all see what I'm talking about. Where the story of the market is with these time frames when you move between them, it just tells you the story. Like what is happening. Break below, targets the high. So I'm expecting after the break of the low and the target is the high, I want to see another follow through with another break. If it just breaks down again, so we break down, we break up, we break down, we break up. That's showing me indecision. That's showing me like basically a stage one is happening where prices are breaking highs, breaking lows, breaking highs, breaking lows. That's what you're gonna notice in a stage one. Let me see if I can find an example of a stage one. So this, I think I could use this one as an example, the gold and the spot that it's in, because it's in a stage one. That's why I'm looking to enter up. That's why it's so choppy right here. Let me go on like a lower time frame. Let me see so I can show y'all this whole area right here is a stage one. How do I know it's a stage one? Well, one, it's moving just sideways, right? And two, look, if you go on the lower time frame, we break up, we break up, we break down, and it completely um like goes under the main low right here that started that move. All right, we break up, we break up, we break down, we break down, we break up, we break down, we break down. It's starting to move structure right here. Break up, break up, break down, break down. So it's not making like a clear directional bias. Every time it breaks up, it breaks down. It breaks up, it breaks down. A clear moving on trend is gonna make a break like this, where it's clearly moving away, right? Especially with the MAs are moving higher. If it does break down, the it follow throughs with the high and then continues like another break higher. Maybe it wants to break immediately like that after that, but it has to follow through. After it breaks the low, I want to see a follow through with another double break. So it breaks right here, comes down, breaks. That's a follow through. Where it would be an issue or concern to me is where after we break the low at this area or at this form of the trend, it immediately breaks the low. And I'm like, okay. So I would just keep an eye on it, whether it's what see what is it doing. Is it breaking highs and lows in just one area? Because at that point, it's a sideways moving market, and anyone trading like basically this price action, especially the inside area of the price action, is gonna get chopped out. So that's basically what I see with gold. It's a stage one looking to continue a stage two. Like that's how simple your trading can be. You don't need to be trying to snipe the highs and lows of the market. You don't need to do all that. Check the higher time frame. Gold is going in one direction. Moves higher. It's one direction. And you can constantly see what I talk about happening on every time frame, right? Constantly see it. Let's see. We break up, we break up, we break up, we break down, we break up, we break down. Indecision. We didn't follow through. After we broke this, all right. At this point, I would have thought it was not normal structure where it broke up, we broke up, we broke down, we broke up. I would have wanted another follow through of another break, but instead went down. Now look at this right here. We break up, multiple breaks of structure, break a low, immediately targets the high with one break, two break, and continues it with a follow through. Like even though like I'm seeing it in hindsight, I talk about it already. Like I'm automatically assuming after the break of the low, the target is the high in an overall bullish market. And you can test this for yourself where you're adding this indicator. It's called the Mentefex structure indicator. And you can basically see this over and over, especially you can see it in a downtrend as well. If you find a downtrend market, it's going to at least two breaks to the downside. And then oftentimes you're going to at least see a high being broken and then a follow through. Which needed another follow through as well, another double break. I'm just giving y'all just many lessons while we waiting for this opportunity. Let's look at even more right here. Look at this. Multiple breaks of structure, right? This point, we break the low once. We break it twice in this case right here, but immediately we break up, follow through. Let's see if I can find the same thing without the indicator right now. So, let me see. We have the high right here. We have the high right here. This is the next high. Breaks right there. So we have a double break right here. And this and never broke structure right there. So we can continue higher. Continue higher. Look at this. It lines up with the actual indicator because it lines up with the rules. So in this case, like I didn't see no break of a low, but it's just going higher and higher from that point. I wonder if like I can find like another example. Let's see. Now So I could see that this would have been like a high. This that was a break of a high, held the low. Uh, no clear examples in this area, but the price is just going higher and higher and higher. But basically, as price goes higher, higher, once you get the break of a low, it doesn't mean like price is ready for a huge drop down. Yes, in this case right here, we had a break right here. But look, even in the short term downtrend that it made, because I would ignore it right here, even in the short term downtrend, it made the same thing. Break lower, break high, continues lower, follow throughs. This is what I talked about already. All right, simple like that. Okay, I can go on another hot time frame right here. Look at this example. Oh damn, there's multiple examples. These are trades I didn't take actually. Let me just delete this. Damn, I had a lot of stuff. All right, we break higher, um, break higher, break higher. We break a low right here. Targets the high, and after we target the high like that with a break, we follow through with another break. Break down. Follow throughs with another break, and then it breaks up again right here, and then it breaks down, and then it follow throughs with this break and another double break right here, just like that. See, it's the same thing on repeat. That's in terms of the structure that's happening. Now I already showed multiple examples of the cycle happening. I can even find multiple examples of the cycle right here. Look, the cycle. We had a flush right here on this time frame after the price moved under all the MAs, right? We made a move higher, right? We paused on the 10/20, made a move higher. Or pausing on the 10 and 20, moves higher. So we have one. I would consider this whole thing the two. This would be the three. This would be four. Kind of made this whole thing. I would have considered the four. Maybe like another. I would have considered like another break for a five. And instead of that happening, it reflushed. Delete all that. Flushed. We have like one right here. We have two. I'll consider like this whole thing like three. Then we end up reflushing. Reflushing. So we wait for the move again. One. I'll consider this a reflush. So after we get one, we get two right here, and then we reflushed. In this case, we moved under all the MAs to the 50. And then after we coming up, we had created one, two, and a reflushing right here. Comes up, it makes one right here. Makes a kind of a two right here. Ends up reflushing, right? But during these areas, you could still potentially take some break evens, maybe losses, maybe minor wins. But when you do end up getting it right, a actual trend unfolds, so you can potentially be in that move. And that's why I'm saying it's really powerful. You can't care about the short term. Oh, it doesn't work in this area, doesn't work in this area, because we're trading based on what creates the on trend. So we have a flush right here. You can consider this like the first one right here, the second one right here. I would have considered this the third one right here. Made a move higher. I probably would have considered this overall one as it moved down right here, and maybe I would have took like a small loss in this area as it flushed down right here. We created the one. We only created one right here, so maybe I would have took like a nice gainer right here before it broke down, like a nice 2-3 R gainer, because these candles are enough for 2-3 R, and it reflushes down. After it reflushes down, we create one, two. So these are enough for nice wins. Maybe even took some break evens. Maybe you didn't get the position side. Like, I mean, like based on these candles, I don't think you would have even got stopped out based on where the wicks and placements are, because this one didn't even create a wick. So that would probably been a nice winner. So it flushes, comes up, it never pauses right here, so you wouldn't have done anything. It reflushes down. Okay, came up, paused right here. Okay, that may have been like a either depending on where you were at the range, maybe a break even, or a small partial, maybe a nice win. Me personally, I think this would be either I think this would have been like a either a small partial or a break even, and then it continues the cycle. So the flush we create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the times where the cycle really plays out, and you make most of the money. And then it reflushes again, and this time right here, as it moves up right here, it never paused, right? So there would be nothing to do. So we're just assuming this is a validation time, your validation time frame, right? Before you enter on going to lower. So we move down, we reflush, there's nothing to do. As it moves higher again, we never on paused, right? It just ends up reflushing heavy with that candle. Now look at this right here. This was insane. I had gotten some nice gainers in this area. I also recorded when I was like, okay, price looks like it's just gonna target the high, especially with the structure that's happening. You put it in confluence with the structure, broke the low. I was like, I'm automatically expecting the target of the high, and then on top of that, you have this right here. When you flushed, you could consider this one, or you can consider this one. If it wasn't really clear, it's okay to consider this one. So you can be like, okay, 1, 2, 3. All those were had some nice areas to enter. If I even looked at it, so let's actually even look at it too. So while I'm waiting, because there's a lot of waiting I have to do. Let's actually look at this area. So let's just say you were more conservative. You looked at this area, 2, 3. It created a fourth one right here. Didn't really touch the maze right here, but it created the fourth one right here. Created the fifth, fell down, and that's a whole cycle that's playing out. So, whole time when people was thinking like shorts for gold, um, I was thinking about longs. So if I actually, I think in this case a 4 hour, yeah, 4 hour for those areas would be optimal. Let's see, we flushed it at 50, right? Create the impulse, the small pause. Look at that. So this is what my entries are just based on. Sometimes I'm gonna take the loss, sometimes I'm gonna take the win. But when I'm right, I can either get the small partial comes back to break even with the rest of the position, or I can get a huge gainer that pays for um previous losses and future losses. That's really important. When your wins can pay for future losses, which means it's even extra profit, that's really powerful. So look at that. There was a opportunity right here, or if you ended up missing that opportunity, there was another opportunity right here where it made that impulse, it made that small pause. Um, and then you can either do like a one-to-one break even somewhere right here. It never came back, and then simply you would. And for my management, I wait for 3 candles of momentum. What would that look like? Like if I dragged it up, we have it looks like this candle entered me in. This candle is the second, and then at this candle right here, it's at least above a 2 hour, so it's above a 2 hour. I would have took a partial at that that area right here, and then simply I would have just trailed it with that rule. So let's go on that 4 hour real quick. Just giving y'all like some valuable tips and stuff like that. Maybe so in this case right here, I can't really tell if this would made a 1-to-1. So maybe this was a break even if you took the much higher entry or not. I'm not really gonna check that. But look, as price goes higher, you're just waiting to trail it. So as soon as it gets to this point and makes this high right here, you trail your stops right here. It breaks the low, so good thing you didn't trail it to the most recent low, but you protected the second most recent low because of what I say happens on every time frame, even the 4 hour, we continue higher. So as we break up, we make these two lows. So I would trail my stops. So instead of the stops being right here, stops would be right here. Right? And at that point, like when you're at break even at least, and you can look for another opportunity. So like as we come down to the 50 right here, we create a beautiful setup right here. A beautiful setup. A beautiful one. That's what I'm saying. Like when you study most of what the large winners or will do, or most of your really good trades will do, they just usually never like really come back, right? Or if they really want to go, they're not gonna stop you at break even if you move to the like the 1-to-1 or structural and stuff like that. So you need to allow yourself short term to take these break evens and losses for this right here. So if I took this position right here, I wasn't a 4 hour trader during this time, but I did get some wins on I think either a 15-minute or 1 hour. Where am I? So let me see what price is doing real quick on my 30. Okay, still haven't made like anything. Let me check what my challenge is doing. Okay, all right. Let's go to back to that 4 hour. What I was saying, because this is all fractal. So if I had entered this one right here, so this, like, let's just say this was our first stop loss right here. If I had entered this, let's go on the daily, see where I would up to the partial. I would have took my partial. All right, so we have one candle that tagged me in. Second candle, there's a third candle put me above a 2R. All right, it's at least a 2R, so I would have took a partial right here. Then I would drop down back to the entry time frame if I was a 4 hour, and then just trail with the stops. So as price goes higher, so if as price makes this break right here and creates this as a low, my stops would be right here. Yeah, that's giving up on a lot of profits if it ends up reversing, but you have to think about the overall gains in the long run if price, because you're positioning yourself for a potential trend, so it just makes sense to potentially try to catch that. If you're not, then it doesn't make sense. And most people aren't really positioning themselves for an actual trend, and that's why it makes sense for more of like a 1-to-2, a 1-to-3, maybe a 1-to-1. So as it moves higher, breaks again. This is where I'll put the stop as it breaks again. As it breaks again, the final time, I would have took it right here for this position. Show the stops right here. Would have got stopped out right here for the rest. So that would be half of this. And then this position as well. You got to remember this position is still there. This position would also get stopped out at the same area for in profit and a huge, 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 huge profit right there. Like that. If we drag it out all the way up there. And if we look, right? Actually, let's go back on the 4 hours. Like, and you can basically just see that it's not really hindsight in my eyes because the same thing that I tell you, like when I'm explaining my entries when I take a trade, this is basically the same thing y'all see, my same entry, the same thing that makes me a loss, the same thing that makes me a break even, the same thing that makes me a win, basically. Another example right here. Oh, this is a 1 hour. I was like, why is there? I skipped over an example. Well, I did skip over an example. There's another one right here. Look, even this one made a good one right here. A really good one. We had an impulse. We had a small pause. It came close to the 50 right here. Just like that. Stops to even like be more like something like that. And then this case, let me see. It would be the first candle, the second candle, the third candle is right there. Where would that put me if I took a partial right here? 2.3. I would have took that, right? I would have took that partial. Then if I go back on the 4 hour, it would have been the same trailing rules, except yeah, it would have been the same trailing rules. So I'll wait after we get this break. I will still wouldn't move my stop. It'll still be at break even because we don't have two lows. The next low is just under my stop. It doesn't make sense, right? And as it makes this next break right here, now we have two lows. I can move to right here, keep moving it, and this same position right here would be right here, and I would be valid to take all these entries because the previous entry would be at least in profit or break even. If you're at least at break even, you can take another trade on the same asset or another asset because you have no risk on that previous trade, giving you a very huge advantage. This is risk management as well, trade management right here. So we made another one right here. So let's actually look to see if we would have got stopped or not. So that's so this is the fourth one right here. Um yeah, this is the fourth one right here. I would probably at the fourth one, yeah, definitely I would have did this, right? Something like this. Where we there wouldn't even have been an opportunity right here in the fourth one because it doesn't make that exact pause I'm looking for. That took out that high, that took out that high, and then this just whipped all the way above. It doesn't make sense for me to put an entry here. So I would have missed that one. And me, I would keep in mind right here that this is the fifth one. So I can either not trade it or make sure the area that I'm trading is the lowest point. So I don't want to wait too for it to get too high. So something like this, maybe I would have traded, let's see, and I would aim for just a 1 to 2 in this area. Simply like that. I would have got it would have missed the 1 to 1. This would have been just a loss. So during that whole area, it would have just been one low. So there's times in the market where you're gonna be on a just say nice winning streak, everything is just playing out, but you can't get overconfident because you know win streaks happens, losing streaks happen, and so on and so on. So I probably would have took a loss in that final area before. Actually, now that I'm looking at it from the wait, actually no, that's not a validation. But yeah, I would have definitely took that. I would have only took one on loss in this area. I wouldn't even look for another trade in this area due to the fact of if I look on that higher time frame, we're potentially making that fifth one. And I know in my head, right, based on what I see, that the fifth one doesn't necessarily have to be created. It could have made like that move up and then it fails down and stuff like that. It continues to fail down. So that would have been my thought process for not trying to look for another trade, even though there would have been like a nice 1 to 2 in this area right here when I look at it. So you just have to be when you're looking at these areas and stuff, you gotta be honest on what we do have done. When you identify what makes a trend or the condition that really um gives you that huge advantage, it doesn't mean that you're gonna win more, but means that you're gonna take more out of the market when that specific time happens. Like this time right here. Or if I was a daily trader, look at this right here. In hindsight, I could see that this entry would have been perfect. Even if I was here at this specific time, I don't trade a daily chart, but if I was to trade a daily chart, this specific time right here where, let me see, made that impulse. So maybe there's two things. It depends on your stop loss. If I'm being honest, maybe I would have got stopped out. Maybe, so it depends on where you place your stop loss. Like, if you somehow placed your stop right here, you would have been good, right? Because you got to keep in mind, it made the pause that wick tagged you in. Unless you somehow put your stop a little bit above, but that wick tagged you in. So maybe this would have been just a loss. Like, actually, let's just say it was a loss. Put it right here. It was a loss. And then price goes without you. Sometimes that's what happens where price tags you in, stops you out, then goes crazy and crazy. Look at this right here. If price didn't stop you out in this area, you would have actually still been in this trade too. This trade would have been up this amount. But you don't. It doesn't matter because these moves happen over and over. Like you would have, like a weekly time frame probably would have showed you. See, look at this. Oh, you probably would have took a partial right here at like a 3R, above a 3R for that, your, for your first partial. So that's exactly what I do. You can compare it. You can see that, like, okay, that same entry that I showed y'all is the same one right here. Same one. Even this one right here was valid right here. But I just came on the chart when it was right here. And then I noticed it was like a little bit down, so I just marked it, executed it real quick because it already tagged right here. I was looking at this specific area and stuff like that. And that's why the entry's a little bit lower. Because after it tagged and I looked at it, I was like, oh, it tagged. Let me just take this for my challenge. But even so, this entry would have been valid right here. It would have tagged you with the wick. And if you're using my rule of cutting the loss when it breaks the 20, this would have been a loss right here because I cut it when it probably right here. It would have been like around half of the position. But that's okay because most of the times it's gonna help you in the long run. You don't care about the short term. Okay, you cut the loss, it would have been a winner. You know, you don't care about that short term. You're caring about the probabilities and what price is doing. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take a look at what everything is doing right now, and simply let's see. And I'm trying to see like, okay, is it worth me staying on the chart? It's 11:13 right now. Hmm. It's not worth me staying on the chart. The reason why it's not worth me staying on the chart is we're still in the validation time frame. We're not even touching the 5 minute right now. And in order for us to look at price at the 5 minute, we need to push up, nice pause, and on top of that, we need to wait for the setup on the 5 minute. And it's 11:14. So that being said, I don't think this move will happen. And then pause, and then it has to make the setup as well, you know, in time. Let me see. Look at this right here. Like I said in this area, as price would moved up like this, I needed price to pause nicely, or we're just gonna reflush. We reflush, nothing to do. Maybe you would have took some type of loss or break even in this area. Let me see if there would have been like some type of opportunity in that area. Yeah, something like this. It would have been like an opportunity here. This probably would have. Let me see. Did it reach a 1 to 1 or it would have? It's either way. You see how it dropped so heavily right here. My rule of cutting a loss by the 20. Look at this. So you see how the other one, like my other example with the daily chart, where it would have been a loss if you cut by the 20, but ended up being a win. That wasn't the daily chart, but basically, let me see. Was it a 1 to 1 at least? Oh yeah, this would have been a complete break-even trade. Save money on that risk management, all that, and it just drops off. So if I'm looking at this, this just shows me price doesn't want to do anything for now because the cycle is not completing itself. It just reflushed. See, I had a trade idea. It didn't play out, but it doesn't mean that I'm losing money because your analysis isn't tied to taking a trade. And the problem a lot of people have is once they have an analysis, they need to take a trade based on that analysis, or they can't. Or when that analysis fails, they immediately chase price. So if it's going short, they start shorting it when you can just wait. So for example, if I'm looking at this right now, if I go back on my context time frame right here, I can just see that okay, we're not in a good area right now. We flushed. I thought this was gonna make a move higher, make a potential trend, but we ended up reflushing. Now, if I look back at the daily to see the bigger perspective, we're just still stuck in this stage one. and I thought this was gonna be the move out of the stage one, but it just stuck in this. Now, if I was to look at this again, what I would wait for is price to move out of this stage one, potentially like above the MAs. Now I can go on a lower time frame and see what the story is telling me. The story is telling me anybody who's trading these areas are most likely getting into chop, because this is just a sideways movement unless you are looking to trade like the extreme bottom of the range and you're a range trader. This is the this is what like I would just ignore price. Um Euro AUD. Nothing to do. Look, we basically just flushed. I thought this was gonna be the pause to make a move higher and continue this trend, because look how beautiful it looks. We created a flush, pause, 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 pause until we reflushed. But we're reflushing right here. Yeah. So that being said, even if I go into lower time frames, the story is not right. Look at this. Is this something I want to trade? No. Doesn't mean another trader won't trade it. It's just something I personally won't trade. So basically, I'm gonna just let me see what Euro USD doing for potentially getting me in for the trade for my challenge. Hmm. Um, I'm gonna potentially just leave it on right here, because this is like more of a high time frame swing trade and stuff like that. I'm gonna just leave it on because it still looks clear to me for this challenge. But other than that, I'm gonna just end the stream and everything, and see y'all tomorrow. April Fools though, for whoever fell for it.